So Faze Banks and I once talked about teaming up with Studio to create to take over Blacklight Tango Down. Remember Blacklight Tango Down?
Yeah.
So we were going to see what it would take for us to co-own the IP, and we were going to put our marketing powers behind it, and we were going to have like an insane. In theory, an insane opportunity with having our players play that game also on top of whatever specific game that they did. And the beauty about that is that you would have superstars from every single one, because it would be like a once a month league or whatever. I mean, we didn't go down the too much into it, but the idea was that we would have our CSGO star team up with Scump, team up with our Halo star, and then create this mesh of superstars of other esports and create one that goes. I mean, it's happening in Valorant right now, where you have Apex players, Overwatch players, and now Counter-Strike players, right? So for me, that's definitely something that's gonna happen at some point. How or who it is that does that, it depends on who's willing to move fast on it.
Yeah.
Because in this industry, if you sit and plan and fucking just
you're dead.
You're dead.
Do you think there's ever a world where 8 North America teams and EU teams and Chinese teams team up, put a holding company together, and go buy Riot Games?
No.
You don't think that'll ever happen?
I think if anybody was going to be in a position to do something like that, would be something like Tencent or Activision.
Yeah.
And I think, Tencent does own...
They own Riot, yeah. 100%,
so,
yeah.
You know what I mean? So, no. I mean, to buy it from them, no. I think the easiest part, because of how big Tencent and Riot is already, I think the best thing would be to create a conglomerate of teams that all agree on one specific business, and then all put resources equally into this thing. And you can call that the franchising model that we're currently living right now. Whether the city-based model or not is a thing or not, or whether it becomes a thing or not, like that's remains to be seen. I don't really put too much thought into the whole thing. Like I have fans in fucking Australia. Shout out to my people out there. And we don't have a team there. You know what I mean? So it's what I don't like is the fact that you're sort of forcing yourself to segregate around a specific area where the internet has no barriers and anybody can access the content if they're allowed to.
That's the beauty of esports, right? Like you have an audience everywhere. I don't know. It'll be... I got to see like the economics of how these leagues shaped out, and my biggest concern, my biggest like grief with the whole thing was like the publishers are killing it, and they're making these teams buy in, and the teams are struggling and having to continually raise capital to stay alive. They're not really getting paid a lot of money from these publishers, from the league revenue. And so of anyone winning in esports right now, it's the publishers. And the teams need to figure out, how do we flip it so we benefit, or we have some type of ownership in these publishing companies, so we can actually like do this together instead of the publishers doing it and us riding the coattails and having to pay all the money. Yeah,
look, I think from a Call of Duty League perspective, I'm super bullish on that. I'm gonna tell you why. I know for a fact that some time ago in a very specific game, there was a bacon camo drop. And I know that it did close to like $4 million in a couple of hours, $4 million in a couple of hours. So I know that at any point, Activision can say, okay, you know what, we've tried this league, this team ownership thing for long enough. Maybe the economics aren't as great as we thought they were going to be. Here, let me do this. I'm going to flip a switch. Make $4 million in 3 hours, drop your own skin, whatever you want, right? So you could be a team skin, or you can come up with your own bacon skin and just drop it. A burger, I mean, you name it. You can put anything out there and people are going to want to have it just because they collect skins.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that there's still also in esports, there's like, we're barely scratching the surface. Everybody's still finding their footing, unfortunately, right? Still finding their footing where, Activision owns Call of Duty the way that no sport in the world owns the basketball court or basketball. Like anybody can create content around there. Ball is Life, obviously, like that's a massive one. House of Hoops is, I think, has a bigger platform now than ESPN online, if you can believe that, which I can. Cut that. I just see this new age thing being so massive that who cares if traditional ads companies and marketing companies are taking as long as they are to catch up to the times. Like, who cares? Let them be as slow as possible while we build the biggest one that we can, the way that House of Hoops did, to be bigger than ESPN, to the point to where people are going to be like, why am I spending money on ESPN where my demographic is like 50 to 60 or 50 to 100 year olds that already have everything that they would have ever bought. How do I get, Matty Two Shoes that's 12 years old all the way to Johnny whatever at 32 that can buy an infinite amount of stuff for the rest of their lives? I don't know. Let them take their time. Like I'm patient. I have all the time in the world, man.
Yeah. I still see people confused with the amount of video views that Jimmy pulls on a video, and they think it's the value of that is so much less because it's on YouTube, as opposed to if he was pulling that on Netflix or on CNBC, they'd be like worth $2 million for a commercial, right? But it just hasn't translated yet, so we're still far behind.
Yeah,
it's sad.
And look, I understand markets. I understand that if you're selling the Aquafina bottle here, that you're advertising to 1 million people in France. They're like it gets lost in translation because they can't buy Aquafina. But the point is that people in France know what Aquafina is, and the brand value that you're generating through that is just, there's no real way to quantify what it means, but it means something. What it does, what it will do, like, we don't know that, and that's the sort of metric that somebody needs to figure out. We have the Nielsen ratings or whatever that give you
ComScores,
they give you the perceived value and put a tag to it, but we don't really know what it means to, like, what is the Beast logo mean? How much is it worth? So that to me is like the other thing. So I'm glad that we're at where we're at, because we are the ones that are going to benefit in the end.
Yeah, I hope so. 5 years ago, I think people were wondering what the hell I was doing when I started Night Media. They didn't really understand YouTube. They're like, yeah, people don't watch other people play video games. What are you talking about? And now to see the mainstream media kind of lean into this space. We're seeing YouTubers on talk shows. We're seeing, TechCrunch write about Mr. Beast investing in Backbone. Like, we're seeing these things finally hit the mainstream media. Not that I even care. Like, I think we have a bigger audience in the mainstream media, but there's still a lot of people that don't know. And so it's exciting, like the evolution of all of this over the last 3 years, to see people finally care has been good.
I love that, because why do we care? Why do we care if it's on mainstream media or not? Mainstream media needs us more than we need them, the same way that traditional sports companies who invest in esports need us. It's just not even a question, right? Like, we are the kings of this and content consumption here than traditional TV. Like, you have pardon me, you have YouTube TV advertising on regular TV, paying them to put them out of business. Because the second that the stay-at-home mom realizes that paying $40 a month to be able to watch the same channels, and you don't have to have an AT&T box this big or whatever, and you can watch any channel cheaper than you can over there, like, it's done. Like, it's a done deal. It's the same way when TV was advertising on radio, right? Yeah. It's the same exact thing. You're sort of allowing this Trojan horse to enter your business because you want to take the ad revenue now, instead of protecting yourself from saying, like, no, hell no, you're not talking to my audience.
Yeah.
Hell no.
Well,